Well, good afternoon.
A very good afternoon.
And a very, very warm welcome to our weekly Facebook Live from CWA. CWA means...
Conscious World Agents and Claudia with Arturo.
So, her name is Claudia. My name is Arturo.
I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
But I was trying to be kind.
Oh yeah, that was the topic of
That's
this
the
week.
topic, yes. The topic of this week was kindness.
Yes.
We're going to talk about kindness. What does it mean, at least for us? And at the end, we have some announcements to make.
Yeah, that's it. So thank you if you're watching, and thank you if you're watching later. We this week again, I spoke to someone in London, a very good friend of mine, and she was also saying how much she enjoyed our recordings. So thank you for watching them, and she also found them very helpful. And we hear this more and more. So we are continuously every Friday making an effort to make short videos that we feel that are important in life for us to reflect on.
Yeah.
In our daily life and in our work, but also to share it with others. So we like to choose topics on many different levels. We choose them.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about that another time. But this week's topic was kindness, as Arturo said, and we all know how it is when we experience kindness. Whether that is when we give kindness to others, or or we receive it. So I wrote a post about that this week, and you didn't.
No.
So maybe you want to start.
I think it's better that you start. But I was trying to be kind for myself because
Yes.
I had a really, really, not only me, but a really busy week. So kindness is not only for the outside world, it's also for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's at least as I perceive it.
Yeah, that's why I think it's nice if you start. That's
Yeah?
why, because I think
Okay.
that is so valuable what you did there.
The Dalai Lama says, whenever it's possible, show kindness. And then he said, it's always possible.
Yeah.
And once you understand that everybody struggles sometimes in life, we all struggle sometimes in life, and kindness can help. But also kindness for yourself. This week, as I said already, it was pretty busy driving from one place to the other in the Netherlands. I needed to go to a doctor, and there was some good messages and a little bit also that was a little bit conflicting. Today, for instance, I had a lot of coaching this morning. We had our weekly meeting with about CWA and the 4-leaf clover program that we're going to launch in this September. A lot of other things were happening at the same time. And at a certain moment I was thinking, okay, I need to write a post. Do I really need to do it, or do I want to do it? And at that moment I was too tired to really do it. And at that moment, okay, how can I be kind for myself also? To let go and see what happens then. And there's no must. And this helped me to relax. And in this relaxing moment, in this feeling, this inner peace, that helped me also to stay on a level towards other people, to be kind. To see that they also have their struggles in life, that they also have their moments of conflict and good news, bad news, how you want to label it, doesn't matter. But are you willing to understand the other person? And kindness and generosity are really close to each other. But I like the quote that I wrote, that I read, and that was about kindness makes the deaf people hear and the blind people see. And kindness, if you show kindness, the other person will feel it. It comes straight to your heart. And it's not by doing something. No, is it really authentic? Is it unconditional? Being there, understanding. And it also relates a lot to compassion. Compassion is a little bit different, but it has at least an influence on this. And that's why I like the word kindness. It's not a big thing. It's just a small thing that you can do for another person. Unconditional, be there, and you will help definitely other people.
Yeah, and this week it was specifically also helping yourself then in being kind.
Yes.
And also to others, but I mean,
Yeah.
not having to write a post
Yeah.
and all that. You choose to be kind to yourself, like you said. So when you did that, you said it also helped you to stay kind to others. What do you think would have happened then if you wouldn't have done that?
Well, it depends, of course, if I was conscious at that moment how I felt.
Yeah.
Did I feel then the contraction in my body, the tension, and can I let it go? So it's for me sometimes difficult to relate or to how do you say vergelijken, compare, to compare this moment with another moment if I wouldn't do it. But I think there was a possibility that I had a little bit more, frustration or charge in the things that I would say or do towards other people. And that's not really the kindness that
And
we're talking
would
about.
that then have been because you would have been too tired or
Yeah.
too stretched or?
Yeah, but also not listened to my heart. And this morning I explained to another person I was coaching in March 2018. I'm not going into details because it's also about another person, so that's not what I want to do. But it was on March the 5th, 2018. I wanted to go somewhere. And everything in my whole body, my whole heart was saying, yes, 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 go. And at that moment I decided not to go because of, let's say, a threat from another person, or at least, and then he or she said something that made me more focus on the fear instead of what I really want, on the love. So I decided not to go. And at the moment that I had that phone call and I decided and I said, no, I won't go, something happened in my heart. I felt so much pain in my heart. I never felt it before, really pain. And I was crying for about an hour on my bed. And after that, I said, okay, so this is what happens if you're not following your heart, if you don't listen to yourself. And at that moment, I made a commitment to myself. I'm not going to do that anymore. I will follow my heart. And of course, that's not always easy, because there are distractions in whole life. But what is my heart telling right now? Slow down, feel, what do I really want? And that helped me also this week. Okay, stay calm, feel the inner peace, and everything is okay.
Yeah, that really helped to go into that faster pace sometimes.
Yeah.
Just take care of yourself first.
Absolutely.
And there's the other quote that says, put your own oxygen mask on before you will help or do anything for someone else.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah.
I suppose, being kind is possible all the time, like you said, but sometimes you just feel that life is going a little bit too fast, and then it's too overwhelming, and then you can't really be genuinely kind perhaps at that moment.
And then it could be kindness, but more trying to please other people.
Yeah.
And then it's not unconditional.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, so I think that worked great for you this week.
Yeah.
Right? That gave you some
Absolutely.
more space, because people are, I'm sure, aware that when we write our posts, that does take a lot of time to do that, as any other work. But for us, it's not really work as such. But it takes some reflection and time out, and put it on social media and whatever. And we have been really busy this week. But we love doing that because it helps to inspire others, and from our own experiences and other people's experiences, and some quotes from others and so forth, we really feel that helps. So this week, when I wrote about kindness, it was a picture of me, a photograph that was taken of me a long time ago, I think 6 years ago in Scotland, when I still lived there, and I was asked to do a project with people with dementia, and also the people who cared for the people with dementia. And because I like drawing and painting and so forth, we did a mandala exercise. This is, like I said before, the mindful mandala drawings came and so forth. Now you can have all these books, but this was before that. And we did a meditation first with people with starting dementia, and their carers, and the staff, and the volunteers. It was a huge group of people. I think there were about 60 people, so we had it divided into small groups. And then we would meditate on a time when you really felt happy. And then from there, after that meditation, people would start to draw or color or paint or whatever. And then we had, after that, when that was all done, we had a huge exhibition from all the mandalas. They were all framed, and the family came and so forth. But I interviewed the people after they drawn these pictures, and I asked them what it was about, what they'd drawn, because some was very detailed, some was very abstract, and so they told the story, and then I made a video from it, a little documentary about it. It was real good fun to do. But what really struck me with that, and I'm holding a gentleman who was there and was very nervous. He said, I'd never painted in his life. And he came to me and he said, I don't know how to do this. I've never painted, and what I did at school, they all said I couldn't paint or draw, so I've never done it again. Any case, he just needed a little bit of kindness. And he was like, I feel really nervous about it. I want to do it. And I put my arm around him and said, would this help? And he said, yeah, that really helped. It calms me down and I can chill. And then he started to draw and he started to paint. But I never forget that moment, what happened, because it made him feel more relaxed. And then you have Maya Angelou, a great role model for me in life. She reminds me a lot of my grandmother, one of my grandmothers. And she said, people will never remember what you did or what you said, but they will always remember what you made them feel, how you made them feel. And I think that is really true. You'll remember the people who made an impact in your life when you were perhaps going through a difficulty or something like that, and they were there for you. They were, like Arturo said, unconditionally there for you. They just held space. They maybe didn't want to fix you, or maybe they did something that helped you a bit, but they were just there with you, and they did something special for you. Or a kind word maybe in the streets when you were really upset, or the local baker who says, here you go, darling, have a bun from me, or a biscuit, or something like that. It could brighten up someone's day more than you can imagine. And I also put an experiment in my post, and this week was also like, just do something from somebody, just randomly, kindly for 1 week, and absorb in yourself, how do I feel after I am kind to someone? And what does it do in my body? Like you said, if you get tight if you're not kind to yourself. There is something happens in your own body. We get tight around the chest area, and this is this tense feeling. And also when we are kind to others and we see it being received as such, there is a exchange, an energy exchange. So not only they benefit, but I benefit. So the more we practice that, it's like medicine in this crazy world that we're in right now. It's like the antidote that we so much need to just be more kind, understanding, and respectful. And I can actually think that Ratna's watching.
Yeah,
but,
Ratna's watching.
She was in the post. She was saying also respect and humility belong in these, and it's so true, Ratna. And I will come back on those because the power of kindness is one of the 16 guidelines of life, which is one of the programs that we have. But humility and respect, they also are in that. And like you said, they're actually very interlinked. One is like it can't almost go without the other. And that is a beautiful discussion to have around. But it's the feeling what happens in our heart when we just go from, okay, think about a time when we experience kindness and then go to our hearts. How did it make me feel? How did it make me feel? And I even see Marjolein is watching as well. Hi, Marjolein. Now, well, that's a great example because I know Marjolein for a very long time, and her parents were always very kind to me, and I will never forget that. They were always so welcoming, so loving, and I had a very close relationship with her mom. And it was just in times when things were maybe difficult for me, her mom was always there. She was solid, she was kind, and I have very good memories around that. So check up in your life, who is your person who really embodied that quality of kindness? Who is the person that you get inspired by? That you say, wow, that person is really triggering something in me here when I see that action, and maybe I receive the kindness of that person, or you see it doing to other people. I used to work in a hospital, and the manager we had there, she was so kind to people. It was just incredible. And maybe that's what we're missing in our society. I remember one of the sisters of the ward. We still had sisters at the ward then. That is not now anymore. Now we have managers and all that. But we had a sister at the ward when I was in nursing, and she said to me once, she said, Claudia, because you get your annual review, she said, nurses are born, they are not made. And I thought about it a long time. And she said, that is a quality that you have, this caring, kind quality. Yeah. And now it's so focused on the intellectual, so much on the academic levels. But the kindness in our hearts, that is, I think, what helps people to heal and to feel comforted and to make connection with people. No academic research study will ever make that connection with a person, but a kind word, like offering someone, if you see they're struggling, can I help you? And you know what, I believe we are made to be kind, because walk on the beach, and we know the beaches in Holland, they are crowded when it's a sunny day, and one person shouts, help. See what happens. Really, somebody shouts help. It gets quiet, and everybody looks, and people want to help. They want to be kind. They want to help others. They want to show their kindness. So the seed is already here in our heart, and now I feel we can cultivate it even more. So if you know someone who's struggling or whatever, just reach out to them. Say, hey, how can I help? What can I do for you? And
yeah, and the ripple effect is enormous. We don't see that right away, but maybe you can also explain what happened after you made these paintings with these elderly people. What happened to their children? They came.
Yeah, they were amazed when they saw, and especially when they heard their father or mother or auntie speak about what they had actually drawn. They were like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. There was one beautiful picture of a man, and he had drawn like a sort of circle, and then different levels of paintings in it. And I was like, okay, can you explain something about this? And he said, well, this is where my mind goes. When I relax more, I go higher and higher and higher, and then I go into a very deep relaxation space. And then his wife said, oh my God, I also always thought when he went there that he was just switching off from the world and that he lost interest in life and all these things. But he was actually going really deep within himself. Yeah. And that opened a whole new area for them again. So they started to make an area where he could paint again at home, and it was incredible. So all these things can lead from one thing to another.
And you know, it shows me again how many assumptions we really have instead of checking what's really there. Yeah. And if we can get rid of these assumptions, the kindness is automatically there. It's already there.
Yeah, very much so. Right. And please, you know, if you want to share your story of when you had an experience that you really felt the kindness of someone, what they did to you or what you did to others, please share it. I would love to have more stories around this, and how it affected you. You know, what did it really do to you? And did it have an effect in your daily life, and how you also related to others? Because like I said, when my manager in the hospital, she was so kind, and you know, I remember being sometimes a bit stressed, and when you're a nurse, or you go into a hospital, you have to, when you see a patient, the first thing you say is, how are you? Yeah. You know? And they will say, and how are you? And then you can't say, well, I'm so shit, you know, you can't do that in hospital. People are really there to get better. You know, you can say, oh, I'm having a bit of a heavy day or whatever, but you don't go into detail what's really happening. And she could see the nurses coming in, and she would spot them and say, I want to have a word with you. Let's have a cup of coffee first or something. And that's just what you were needing. Just that little cup of coffee or tea before you started, and then you could go be kind to others again. So, yeah, the ripples are amazing, because then how I would approach a patient again would be different than if I would have started straight away, like you said, just taking time for yourself. Yeah. So yeah, we learn and we live, don't we all? So that's what we love sharing with you, and I love looking at other people, you know, the qualities, picking out the qualities that they have, and what can I learn from that? So I think those have been my great learnings, and also to see what people do and I think, I don't want to do it like that at all. You know, that's not helpful, what you display there. And I've learned that from myself too. I've done things and I think, oh my God, you know, why did I do that? But my awareness, my conscious level was different then. Yeah. And then you can choose either to be kind to yourself, or feel guilt, or beat yourself up, or say, okay, that's what it was, but what can I do different next time?
Yeah, very good. And by getting more aware of this feeling and going inside and see how you also can be of service to others, it will raise your level of consciousness. Yeah. Constantly you grow in this, and that is so helpful to also for yourself, but also to your society where you live in, and the people you live with.
I had some fantastic calls this week with people from the UK who are doing things in their communities, for example, and bringing people together, you know, like they work in one of the projects where old parking places, they were making them into community gardens and stuff, and what can they do with the place? And I see that's also being kind to the place itself, you know, to just leave it there and derelict, or can you do something with it, and how it brings people together as well. I was really amazed by that. So kindness goes in many ways, in many forms. So I think it's so powerful. And what you might also see, that sometimes we'll talk about it, and then maybe over a few months we decide to go a little bit deeper into this topic. And if you feel that you want to add something to that, then we'll announce it, and we'd love to hear some of your views as well. So, well, what do we want to announce?
Well, the topic for next week is courage. How can courage help you to raise your level of consciousness? And what does it mean? Does it mean, for instance, courage that you don't have any fear, or maybe you overcome the fear? All these kind of things. We're going to talk about it and write about it.
Yes, and I'm sure we can all relate to that, and maybe think about who were your role models for kindness, and maybe also for courage. You know, who inspired you to sometimes speak up when you didn't feel like it, or set boundaries or things like that. So I'd love to hear that. And then on the 18th and the 19th of September,
Yes.
we'll start our 4-leaf clover program. And we are so excited about it.
Yeah, this week we went into detail about the program for ourselves and what are we going to do.
Yeah, more in depth.
Yeah. The 4-leaf clover program, if you want to know more, read about it on our website. It's consciousworldagents.com, and then go to the 4-leaf clover program, not the 4-lead clover program. That's another one. That's for business leaders. This is the 4-leaf is more on a personal level. And see what the program is. What are we going to do there? But I can guarantee you, we're going to dive deeper into your soul. Well, I don't know how you.
Yeah, I think it is like that. It's like, people. We all know how to live a life comfortably, but do we know how to live a life that is extraordinary? And how do we do that? I believe by knowing ourselves first well, and then when you know yourself well, to have tools to make it as beautiful as possible, and then to do that with a group, a smallish group. It's not a massive group. It's not hundreds of people, but with a group of people that you feel connected with. We have Zoom calls, and it becomes like building your own family, really, that supports you and stands beside you without judging, and just want the best for you. And I just love doing that. And every time,
and one important thing, at least for me, but also for you, I think, is that it's not a 2-day program and then you go into normal life again and then see what you do with it. No, it's a 1-year program. A 1-year program, that means in total 8 days of training, 8 Zoom calls. On top of that, a workbook, 2 facilitators. And when you look at a 4-leaf clover, there are 4 leaves, and each leaf stands for something. And the first leaf is, for instance, I and me. That's what Claudia said. Do you know yourself enough? Who am I? And then the second leaf is about me and the other. I and the other persons around me. How can I relate to them? And then the third leaf clover, that is the one that is I and the world. How can I cope with everything that's happening there, and maybe even influence? And then the last, the 4th leaf clover, the 4-leaf, that's the that makes you totally happy. 4 leaves, that's me and the universe. How can you relate to all this energy that's around us? How can you create that extraordinary life for yourself? And with that, the ripple effect will be enormous also for the rest of the people around you. And it's a 1 year, and that's what I really like about it.
It's a nurturing, supportive way of exploring what really brings you happiness and how to implement that in your daily life. Yeah. And there's lovely courses out there, and there's wonderful people doing wonderful things. But I really thought, I wish I would have had this course myself, because I feel it's really complete.
Yeah.
and it gives me, it would have given me a very good foundation in life a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest, if you look at the price, what I said, 8 full days of training. Besides that, 8 Zoom calls, 2 facilitators, a workbook.
yeah, and
The normal price would be over 2,000, and it's now.
yeah. Next year we'll do that, but
Yeah.
this year, first year, we'll just make it available for everybody who've been thinking about it. So we want, to make it as
It's
available as much as possible,
1,108 euros,
excluding VAT.
excluding the
VAT.
VAT. That's true.
But we made it as low as possible,
Yeah.
because of all the things we do, and we really look forward to sharing it. So there is some spaces available, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you for watching. It's been wonderful.
Have
And
a wonderful weekend.
I also
of
want to
course.
say one thing before we go, because some people said to me the other day, but I think it's far too out there for me or something.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? If one thing it isn't that. It's really, it's at a level that is understandable. It is a level of clarity, and it is focused, and it is not like you have to be enlightened or something to be
No.
on that course. It's
No.
nothing like that.
No.
It's just by deepening the journey where you are at in your life. So it's
Absolutely.
the level where you're at, that's where we'll take it deeper.
You know, it's about spirituality. But if the people who already did a course with us, and also they are people who are already following us for a longer time, they know that we try to make it as practical and tangible as possible.
Yeah.
And what we think is that spirituality, it's pretty simple. It's science. It's more or less a formula, almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
But can you tap in
That's
to
it.
that formula?
That's it. It's how to learn to tap in, and you have already so many answers within you. But also, it's really wonderful to explore those answers with other people. So we've got some inquiry practices there, self-inquiry practices, and you know that is all where you want to take it yourself. So, in any case, so it's not something out there that's only for people who are really I don't know what we would label them as such, but it's really for all of us. So, any case, that's what I wanted to add to that.
Yeah, well, thank you for watching, and please give your comment underneath this this video.
Yeah, and if you come in later, then you know you can watch it again later on here on Facebook, but we'll also put it on YouTube sometime next week when I have a little bit more time. We will certainly do that. And anything that you feel like sharing about the topics we've touched upon today, please do. And otherwise, we'll look forward to seeing you next week on the topic courage on probably the same time, Friday afternoon, 3 p.m. CET. And if you are interested to joining us with the 4-leaf clover, write us an email at consciousworldagents@gmail.com. And I don't think there's anything else except for wishing you a wonderful weekend.
Absolutely.
And looking forward to seeing you all again next weekend. Thank you so much for watching. It's always so wonderful to see you all here. And yeah, we just wish it's going to be more interactive sometime as well, because we are very curious in how you experience life and what is helping you as well. All right, take good care. Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.